Hello everyone, I'm Olga Ralko and today we have our grammar lesson again. A couple of weeks ago I created a lesson about the present perfect tense. What it looks like, where and how do we use it. And I talked about the main rules of the usage of the present perfect. And now we have a chance to discuss one more and absolutely popular subject, and the question of the subject is: when do we use the present perfect simple tense and when do we use the present perfect continuous tense? Well, I know a lot of students and they want to know to be certain when do we use these different tenses. Now, and another question for today's discussion: when to use adverbs for and since in the present perfect tenses. Both of these questions I am going to answer today. Well, let's start by talking about the present simple perfect and the present perfect continuous. You see, some examples can prove my words. They can eaten the pizza, the first example. And the second example, they have been eaten the pizza. You see two different grammatical tenses. First example, this present perfect simple, and we have also our auxiliary verb have and our main verb in the past participle form, eaten, you see. In the second example, they have been eaten the pizza. We have the present perfect continuous tense. And again, we have our auxiliary verb, have in this case, but another word, been, and the main verb in the present participle form, or its continuous form, eaten, as you see. So, when to compare these two examples, the main difference is that the first sentence tells us about the action which finished. It finished in the past. There is no more pizza now, you see? But we still have an experience of its taste. The second sentence, they have been eaten the pizza, suggests that there is still pizza left now. They haven't eaten all the pizza, you see? We can use either of these two tenses to talk about events that happened in the past, but they are somehow connected to the present. That's the deal. Another example. She has borrowed our car. So, this is the action that happened in the past. But it's important to the present. Why? Because we don't have a car right now. If you have such a case, the present simple, the present perfect simple is your choice. And another sentence. She has been borrowing our car every Thursday. Now, this sentence suggests that the action is still happening. You see? Our focus here is on the action. The action is unfinished yet. Now, the present perfect continuous is your best choice here. Now let's compare another examples. I have searched the internet for more information. The sentence suggests that you are not searching anymore. The action finished in the past. But it's important to the present situation because right now we don't have any information. I've been searching the internet for more information. It suggests that you are still doing it. You are looking for information. You haven't given up yet. And you are still looking now, you see? Let's try another example. We have written an essay about climate change. Good example. The action here is finished. It's in the past. We have already completed it. So you can also say we wrote an essay about climate change using the past simple. But to connect it to the present tense and make it important to the present tense, you need to use only the present perfect tense. Think about it. You were with a group of other scientists and you wanted to demonstrate, to show them that you were knowledgeable about the topic of climate changes. So you can connect your past experience to the present situation, you see? Or, in other words, writing the essay in this situation is part of your life experience now. We have been writing an essay about climate change. The present perfect continuous tense is used here. It suggests that you are still doing it. You haven't finished yet. You are still working on it at the moment, in the present. That's the main difference. I have been studying Spanish. This is an unfinished action, you see? I'm still doing it. It continues form and it makes it clear that the action is still happening. I'm still studying at the moment, studying Spanish at the moment. And another example, I have studied French. What's the difference? By using the present perfect in here, we can say that the action happened regularly, but in the past. And it doesn't happen now, you see? That's the deal. Okay, the last example, this one I mean, is a little more difficult to explain and understand. Look, there are few verbs in English language, like the verb live and work, which have some difference between the present perfect simple usage and the present perfect continuous. And this difference for us, for learners, is less clear, is not so much clear, you see? But no problem, I am going to explain it for you now. Look, I have lived here for 5 years. And the second sentence is, I'm from Kiev originally, but I have been living here for 5 years. So both of these sentences use the adverb for, as you have noticed, okay? And it is used to give us more information about how long the action has been happening for, about the duration of time. But to understand the difference between these two sentences, we need to think about this example in slightly different way. What I mean? The present perfect simple tense in the first sentence, I have lived, suggests that the action is a permanent thing. Okay? And the present perfect continuous tense often tells us that the action is more temporary. It is not as permanent. It suggests that I might live somewhere else in the future. Why not? Okay, now, how you feel about the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous? Hopefully a little clearly. It is good then. And now I'm going to focus on those two adverbs that you can use with these two tenses. Now, there's quite a few adverbs that can be used in the perfect tenses, in the present perfect tense, for example. They are ever, never, before, just, already, recently, so far, how long, today, great number, as you see. But during this lesson, we are going to focus on for and since. Both of these words are used with the present perfect tenses and also with the past perfect tenses. And both of these words explains how long the action has been happening for. It's a duration of time. So, when we are using the present perfect tense, you want to give more information about the amount of time the action has been happening for. And then we can use the words for and since. Clear now? Okay, I'm keeping on. It's important to remember that the word since can only be used with the present perfect tenses or with the perfect tenses, as you want. But the word for can be used in another tenses as well. When you want to give more information about the time it took to do something, you see? So, these two important words can be easily confused. Using the wrong one is a very common mistake for English learners. So, we use the word for with a period of time. Okay, for example, 3 days. This is a period of time, right? And I want to show you how it works by means of our timeline. Well, even though we are not talking about a specific time, a specific amount of time, this reference refers to a period of time. So, we still need to use for. Now, let's add these to some of the examples in the present perfect structure. Look, today is Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday. And these points in our timeline, when the action happened, is Monday. So, this is when the action happened or it started happening. And the focus is between Monday and Wednesday. Focus is on the period of time between these days. You see? For example, for 3 days, the period of 3 days. For 5 months, for an hour, for 2.5 years, for a long time. Now, you need to use since with a specific moment in the past, with a specific point in the past. Okay, so let's go back to our timeline to talk about it again. Look, today is Wednesday, right? And on Monday, the action started happening or happened. It means the point is Monday. So we can say that we have been doing the action since Monday and it is going on up to this day, up to Wednesday. So the focus is on the point in time when action happened or started happening. This is the main difference. So, since I lived in Brazil, since 3 o'clock, since 1999, since last week. Well, let's add these rules to the present perfect structures. I have lived there since I was a child. I have been working here since April. They have been waiting since 9 a.m. I've had these pants since I was at school. I've been expecting the parcel since last Thursday. These structures with for and since are really useful, especially when answering questions that start with how long. How long have you been traveling? I have been traveling since June. How long have you been traveling? I've been traveling for 3 months. Okay, to make sure that you are always listening for the clues in the question, you should be very certain. How long can help you to identify when you can use these words for and since to give your answers in the present perfect tense. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. But even though the present perfect tenses can be frustrating at times, be patient, please, while you perfecting them. Don't just use the past simple because it's easy. I want you really to take the time practice this tense, the present perfect, because it always allows you to be so much more expressive while talking, so much expressing with your spoken English. And the more often you do it, the more naturally it will come to you. Well, thanks for your watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.